They went to work, paid taxes, sent their kids to school, lived beside us. They built a life in America. Then one day, they vanished, picked up by ICE, detained, and separated from their children. Some never got to say goodbye. This is the side of U.S. immigration policy no one talks about. Families who fled war only to be torn apart years later, right here on American soil. We often think immigration raids happen at the border, but in reality, many ICE arrests happen in homes, schools, hospitals, even workplaces. These are people who have been living in the U.S. for years, sometimes decades. They've started businesses, bought homes, raised American-born children. Some even had legal status, visas, pending asylum claims, TPS, or DACA protections. But with aggressive immigration enforcement tactics, all it takes is one expired document, one missed hearing, or one ICE raid to end a family's life as they know it. Let's talk about Maria, a mother of 3 from El Salvador. She fled gang violence in 2013 and applied for asylum. While waiting, she worked, paid taxes, and sent her kids to school in Texas. One morning, ICE showed up at her house. She was detained. Her kids were taken by Child Protective Services. She hasn't seen her youngest son in almost a year, and she's not alone. Across the country, stories like Maria's are unfolding in silence. From Gazan families who fled bombing campaigns, now living in Michigan, raided during Ramadan, from Iranian asylum seekers in California, now facing ICE detention after policy changes, stripped protections from religious minorities, from Honduran fathers working in construction, detained on their lunch break, and deported while their kids remained in U.S. foster care. These families already survived war. They escaped the violence we report on. They made it here. They built a life. But ICE doesn't care about that history. Once in custody, they're treated no differently than any other detainee. Here's the disturbing truth. Thousands of US-based foreign families are being torn apart each year, not at the border, but in their own homes. In 2019 alone, over 25,000 children were separated from a parent due to ICE enforcement within the US. Most of these kids were US citizens. And when parents are detained or deported, children are often placed in foster care or state custody. In some cases, families are never reunited, even after deportation. Let's be clear, this isn't about people crossing illegally today. This is about people who are already here, who are trying to follow the rules, but were indented in a system with no forgiveness and no humanity. A wrong address on a form, a green card stuck in processing, a court delay due to a translation error. That's all it takes for ICE to step in and families to be destroyed. Under the Trump administration, these tactics escalated. Workplace raids increased by 400%. Courthouses became surveillance zones. Sanctuary cities were targeted. And family separations weren't limited to the border. They became policy. While some policies have shifted under new leadership, the fear hasn't gone away. ICE still operates with broad power, and thousands still sit in detention centers across the US, many with no criminal record. And the trauma, it doesn't end when detention does. Studies show that children separated from their parents suffer long-term emotional harm. They develop anxiety, depression, trust issues, even PTSD. One separated child was quoted saying, "I thought my mom had died. I cried so much I forgot her voice." And what makes it worse? These families aren't being treated equally. The US has welcomed Ukrainian refugees fleeing war. We granted protection to Afghans escaping the Taliban. We allowed Cuban families to stay during the Cold War. So why are Middle Eastern, Central American, and African families, who also flee war, being caged, separated, and deported? Why are families that have already built lives here still living in fear of being erased? These are not criminals. These are your neighbors. The woman cleaning hospital rooms during the pandemic. The man who fixed your roof after a storm. The child in your kid's classroom, wondering why their mom never came home. This is a hidden war, one that doesn't make headlines. But for the families trapped in it, the trauma is lifelong. If war displaces families, America should be their sanctuary, not another battlefield. No one should lose their child because of a system that values paperwork over people. So we ask you, should foreign families who built a life here still live in fear of being ripped apart? Is immigration enforcement becoming a weapon against the very people who make America stronger? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to Conflict Signal for the stories no one else is telling, the human cost of conflict, both abroad and at home.